Northport Commissioners OK Police K-9 settlement action will end federal civil rights suit filed for use of excessive force. Chris Porter, Northport Englewood editor. Northport. The Northport City Commission voted to settle a federal civil rights lawsuit Tuesday night over the use of excessive force involving a police dog. The approval of the settlement for $130,000 with Matthew C. Pulin was a part of the City Commission's consent agenda, and it was approved 5-0 along with several other items. There was no discussion by Commission members or the public. The case began on October 15, 2017, when police were called to Brancusi Avenue in Northport. A woman who called the police department told officers that Matt, a neighbor, was drunk and had broken into her home. Officers found Pulin and spoke to him. According to the reports, Pulin, who was 34 at the time, resisted the officers and was eventually handcuffed and taken into custody. What happened during the incident was the subject of the civil lawsuit. While trying to subdue and handcuff Pulin, officers used tasers on Pulin, and one officer, Chad Walker, deployed his police dog Dutch, reports show. The dog bit Pulin on his arm. Pulin was arrested that night and eventually convicted of resisting arrest without violence and possession of a firearm as a convicted felon. Other charges were dropped, including battery against a first responder and striking a police dog. But Pulin has long argued he was passively resisting, and the use of more K9A4 K9 from A1 tasers and the K9 by the officers represented excessive force. Pulin filed a federal suit against the city of Northport and 6 of its police officers in June 2021 in the U.S. Middle District of Florida, saying his civil rights were violated. 2 of the officers named in the suit, Keith Bush and Walker, were the initial responding officers on the call that led to his arrest. The remaining 4 officers, Matthew Lagars, John Hedeberg, Stephen Cambria, and John Contorno, arrived later to provide support, records show. Pulin's civil complaint alleged Walker tackled him as he was walking away. He alleged Bush authorized Walker to allow K9 Dutch to bite him on his right arm, which has since lost a notable amount of muscle and skin, according to court documents. The other 4 officers did nothing to stop the situation, Pulin's suit contends. In their response to Pulin's complaint, attorneys for the officers alleged Pulin had pushed Walker and they were taking measures to detain a belligerent suspect. The complaint also alleged the city of Northport allowed a culture of permissibility with allegations of force against the K9 unit in general. The city faced several legal complaints around the same time, during the tenure of a previous police chief. The officers argued that their actions were defensible under qualified immunity as law enforcement officers. Attorneys for the city argued that there was no basis for alleging a culture of acceptance for complaints of excessive force. In January, U.S. District Judge William F. Young granted a summary judgment in favor of the defendants regarding the use of tasers. Young also granted the city of Northport's motion based on a lack of solid evidence for a pattern of acceptance. Pulin's attorney cited previous lawsuits against Bush for excessive force involving a K9 and the resulting media coverage, but Young ruled the presence of accusations did not automatically rise to the level of proven behavior and toleration of that behavior. Also at that time, however, Young did uphold the preliminary case for the complaint regarding the use of a K9 and the failure of the officers to act. The city's action on Tuesday night approving the sentencing agreement will likely end the proceedings if accepted by Pulin and his attorneys. Pulin was ultimately sentenced to 8 years in prison, and is currently serving his sentence in Tomoka Correctional Institution in Daytona Beach. Sun staff writer Frank DiFiore contributed to this report. Officer Chad Walker and K9 Dutch during a K9 demonstration in this undated photo. Photo provided copyright